到你的脑袋里面去哦。
掉下，掉下，掉下，掉下。
Do you believe in such things as blessings? The movie starts with a voiceover posing this question, exploring the influence of willpower and how intentions shape real-world outcomes. Two optical illusions are presented to illustrate how perception molds reality. The voiceover prompts us to closely observe a Ferris wheel's animation, seemingly turning in either direction at our command, and a video of a moving train creating the illusion of entering or leaving a tunnel. Following this, we witness a girl affected by a curse, resulting in a severe decline in her condition. The protagonist and the voice from the opening voiceover Lai Ronan appear on the screen with an ominous video message. She reveals that she violated a terrifying religious taboo 6 years ago by recklessly entering a forbidden tunnel. Those who have witnessed the video footage of the sacred tunnel are affected by a terrible curse that brings misfortune to them. She requests her viewers help lifting the curse to save her daughter's life. She asks the audience to look at the symbol until they memorize it, and if they can, recite the incantation with her. The film then jumps back a few weeks when Lai Ronan is about to gain custody of her 6-year-old daughter Dodo. She visits the foster house run by Mr. Ming to pick up Dodo and buys a camera to record the time that Dodo is here, and maybe turn it into a sort of diary documenting her new life. The movie shifts back 6 years, showing footage from Dr. Wu's mental institution. Wu questions Ronan about whether she believes that entering the forbidden tunnel has caused misfortune for those around her, and if, based on her statements, her baby died as a result. Ronan responds that she gave the baby away. Wu then asks her to explain why nothing has happened to her and her baby, considering her previous mention that answering one's name or even watching a video filmed inside the tunnel would result in death. Ronan says that all she knows about this deity is that the more you understand about it, the more likely you will encounter misfortune. Following this, we see that Ronan has brought Dodo home, and the mother-daughter duo embarks on a new chapter in their lives. Ronan takes care of Dodo, ensuring all arrangements are made to make her comfortable. Gradually, the initially reserved Dodo also begins to warm up to her mother. Suddenly, there's a sound of something falling outside, and Ronan quickly leaves to check. While alone, Dodo observes something in the vicinity, and outside, Ronan discovers the window glass is broken, and there are a few cockroaches. Later, she notices a red mark on Dodo's eye and applies eye drops to it. Now after Dodo falls asleep, Ronan records the video diary, but suddenly, the house lights go off. She switches on the camera light and attempts to turn on the lights, and notices the fridge door is open. She goes there to check and finds an open milk bottle. She then notices that the staircase lights are going on and off, and when she comes out to investigate, she gets startled to hear someone crying. Suddenly, the elevator door opens with a scream, prompting her to lock the doors in the house. Terrified, she hurries to Dodo's room, locks the door, and hears a flushing sound from the bathroom. She rushes there to check but finds no one there. And when she comes out, she discovers that Dodo is missing. Ronan checks under the bed and finds Dodo crawling out of the room. She goes after her and notices that Dodo is now acting strangely, repeatedly saying her name. Dodo enters her room and screams, causing the door to shut, and when Ronan rushes in, she finds Dodo standing under her blanket screaming. Ronan tries to calm her down and the scene cuts here. The movie then shifts to 6 years ago, where we see Ronan with her friends Yuan and Dom. They run a YouTube channel called The Strange Murmurs and refer to themselves as the Ghostbusters. They are on their way to the Forbidden Tunnel to record a video for their channel, exploring the superstitions surrounding it. Suddenly, their car hits something and comes to a stop, and when they investigate, they discover a strange object underneath their car. They take the object out and realize that it is a statue of Mother Buddha, and soon after, Ronan starts feeling unwell, and Yuan jokes, suggesting that Ronan might be possessed. Following this, they resume their journey and meet Yuan and Dom's granduncle. Upon seeing Ronan, the uncle remarks that she isn't from their family and explains that their ritual is a private family affair, not open to outsiders. Yuan asserts that Ronan is Dom's girlfriend, but uncle still suggests Ronan leave and return after they finish. Once uncle departs, Ronan inquires why an old woman keeps staring at her, but even her friends are unaware of any details about her. The uncle returns and asks Ronan if they can take a look at her hand. Ronan hesitantly shows her hand to the old lady, and the scene shifts once again to Ronan at her workplace. Her colleague notices bugs there on a chair, and both are startled to see them. They find that the bugs are emerging from her bag, and as this happens, Ronan receives a call from Dodo's school. Rushing there, she discovers that Dodo has injured another child. On her way back home, she receives a call from Ming, who tells her to inform him if Dodo needs anything. Dodo tells Ronan that she hates going to kindergarten because a classmate named Chang teases her, calling her crazy. Later that night, Ming's assistant Misha calls Ronan expressing concern about Dodo biting someone at school, mentioning that it never happened in the foster home or their center. Ronan also receives a call from her office, and her boss scolds her for leaving without informing the client. Now Ronan becomes worried due to these frequent incidents, and just then she is interrupted when Dodo screams and calls her. Dodo claims there's a baddie up there, but when Ronan checks there, she finds nothing unusual. Dodo insists it's right up there and asks Ronan to tell it to come down. Ronan turns on the light and instructs the baddie to come down. However, Dodo says she has to lead it out by the hand. Ronan raises her hand, but Dodo asks her to go higher and then claims she has got its hand. Ronan pretends to lead the baddie out of the house, but we see a shadow going back, and Dodo tells it to come down. The next day, Dodo's school principal informs Ronan that Dodo is highly distracted in class. While she is negatively affecting the other children, she tends to stare at the ceiling, talk to herself, and has mentioned seeing a faceless baddie to her classmates. Later, Ronan decides to set up a hidden camera in Dodo's room, but she notices her nose bleeding. Following this, video footage from Dodo's school shows her playing hide and seek with her teacher, and during the game, an entity is recorded approaching her. That evening, when Ronan finds that Dodo has covered her doll's eyes, scared of the baddie, Ronan asks her to remember her 3 favorite things in the world whenever she gets scared. Innocently, Dodo names Pineapple and her stuffed toys Bunny and Woofy as her favorite things. Back to 6 years ago, Ronan, Yuan, and Dom are in the midst of the ritual, and the old lady informs them that they must return to worship Mother Buddha every 10 years. She emphasizes that after offering up their real name, they cannot use it in this place anymore, and they must not even think it in their minds. A girl then touches Ronan's tummy, and the old lady tells Ronan that Mother Buddha is happy. She mentions that once the little girl growing in Ronan's tummy has a name, Ronan must offer it to Mother Buddha too. Later that night, all 3 of them secretly set out towards that tunnel and discover that the members of the clan are worshipping together, doing an incantation, and making a unique hand gesture. They also try to film the little girl, but suddenly, she opens her eyes. They attempt to hide from her, but she approaches and asks if they snuck out to play. She takes them aside and asks if they want to go somewhere fun. Yuan inquires about the tunnel, but she says they can't go there. After this, she takes Ronan to a room and tells Yuan and Dom that both of them cannot come inside. While they're inside, Yuan sets up his GoPro camera under the door to record what's happening. The girl goes under a table, asking Ronan to wait there for her. During this, Ronan notices some statues facing toward the wall and a symbol. She then hears a sound and sees blood on the ground, which is actually dripping from the ceiling above. She sees a painting of a deity on the ceiling, and then the girl comes out from under the table with a box in her hands. Inside the box are some frogs and a lot of hair. The girl hands Ronan a bunch of hair and asks her to feed them. Ronan hesitantly puts the hair in the box, causing it to shake, and she gets scared. Just then, Ronan notices the girl's ear, and the girl tells her that she was chosen by the gods, so Mother Buddha took her flesh to bless everyone. Suddenly, a sound occurs, and they see that a statue has fallen, and all the statues on the table turn over. The girl bows Ronan's head and begins reciting an incantation, and after a while, the uncle arrives and tells them to get out of there. The scene again changes to Dodo's birthday, and they go out to celebrate it. Later, when Ronan goes to sell the property she lived in before, the agent is worried about the Buddha statues on the upper floor of the building. When Ronan converses with the agent, we see that Dodo is talking to someone and the unseen entity is leading her towards the upper floor. Following that entity's instructions, Dodo climbs up the parapet and sits there, and it makes her jump from there. However, after a while, she returns unharmed with a knife with her, and asks the entity what she do now. The entity instructs her to enter a room, and after a while, when the door fully opens, we see that the room is filled with mystifying Buddha statues, and Dodo is watching the footage of the sacred tunnel that awakened the curse. Ronan reaches there looking for her, and on the way back to their home, we see that Dodo is not doing well, so Ronan rushes her to the hospital. Later, Ming tells Ronan that the doctors told him that Dodo's hemiparesis might be brain-induced. He also gives her a talisman and tells her that Misha got this for Dodo from the temple to keep her safe. However, Ronan throws it away and asks him why he gave it to her. After this, we are shown footage in which Misha seems to be in a trance, and she puts a burning hot rod in her mouth. Back to 6 years ago, Yuan and Dom's uncle tell them to return to their home the next morning, and they lock them inside their room. However, after a while, they manage to unlock the door but find that Ronan is not feeling well. Ronan insists she is okay and suggests they should look for the little girl. They then move towards the tunnel and find barrier talismans on the way. Yuen tells the viewers that now they are heading into the Chen clan's tunnel you must not enter. Meanwhile, Dom asks Ronan if she is really pregnant and suggests naming the girl Chen Latone. However, Yuen interrupts and asks them to hurry up. Just then, Yuen asks them to turn off their flashlights and hide. While hiding, they hear strange voices and see clan members coming their way, chanting incantations. Back to Dr. Wu. She tells Ronan that she watched her video and asks what exactly she is afraid of. She questions if she is afraid of the curse or if she is concerned about going crazy again. She explains that some people see a fallen chair and say it's a ghost, while others would see the same and consider it a miracle from God. The world is as you choose to see it. How you perceive the world can bring about tiny changes to it. She expresses uncertainty about the existence of gods or ghosts but is certain that you decide how your world is shaped. We then learn that the court has revoked Ronan's custody rights. Ronan tries to escape with Dodo and she tells Dodo to wait in the car while she goes to get something. After a while, we see social workers looking for Dodo, and then Ming finds Dodo in Ronan's car. He sits in the car and asks Dodo if she wants to go to his place, to which she says yes, but asks what about Mom. Just then Ronan also comes back with the luggage, and Ming helps her to escape from there. Back to 6 years ago, the trio finds the young girl they met earlier in front of the tunnel as if prepared for a sacrifice, and Yuen tells the viewers that this must be the Chen family's tunnel that you must not enter. They also find a goat tied nearby, and Dom expresses concern, suggesting they forget about entering the tunnel due to a bad feeling he has. However, Yuen gets angry and breaks the tunnel door with a kick. After this, when Yuen tries to look inside the tunnel, they hear someone screaming from within. After listening carefully, they feel as if a child is crying inside. Ronan suggests there may be other kids inside, so they should go in. However, Dom asks her to stay there and look after the girl, and then he and Yuen enter the cave to investigate the matter.